Good morning, and good morning. How are you doing this morning? I'm hope it's going to be a good day for you. Hoping last night was good and you woke up feeling good. Having said something to your higher power and just in a position to do something now. That's what our discussion is today. Now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's kind of hard for us to think that we're still in pandemic. We still have some things we have to do. There's still great concern about trying to stay safe. There's a lot of things that we cannot do, but there's some things we need to look at doing now. So I say good morning. And somebody gave me a heart, so that means I'm going to give you my heart too. Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for being in this little space with me. I appreciate it. You don't even know how much I appreciate it. Well, good morning, OJ. My undergraduate school friend, how are you doing this morning? How is the city? OJ's from up in the northeast area of the country. And I tell you, I missed it so much. It was my year to come home, but that not according to the weather, not according to the conditions of the COVID-19 said you're not going anywhere. And I even watched on TV this morning and it was showing that Hawaii is back open again. The entire, state is back open again. And all I can say is I wouldn't be traveling over there. I used to travel over there so much, so I'd gotten my fill of it and loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. Fresh pineapple. Child, the pineapple we have, they've doctored it up a little bit. But over there, oh, child, great. It's fresh. They cut it right in front of you, and it's just delicious to have. So anyway, we're going to talk about now today. And I'm going to start off in a minute with the poem. It's an anonymous poem. I don't know. Sometimes people write good stuff and they don't put their name by it. And that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes things are meant to be anonymous. We're meant to be in the creases of the page, in the middle of the thought, but the thought is still presented and the pages still exist. And so that's okay. It's okay however we get the information, but the point is that we get it. Whenever it arrives, we can certainly look at it and say it was good stuff. And this poem, I liked it so much. And I tell you, I've always read poetry, and I've always been a writer of poetry. And one day I'm going to come on and just write some poem. Say some of the poems that I present. Some of the poems. That's what I meant to say, that I've written, and see how you like them. See how you like them, and we'll have it where you can do an applause or you can say that kind of stuff, and that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I had one poem that they wanted to. I had submitted it to be published in a book of anthologies, and I don't know, for some reason they wanted me to change. It said it didn't. It met everything else. They thought it was beautiful and everything, but they wanted me to take some words out to make it fit the number that was capped as to the number of letters and words that could be in the poem. Well, I didn't take to it because I felt it was good just the way it was. And sometimes you have to own up to the fact when you've been given something, you don't want to keep trying to, maneuver, and it's for somebody else. And so anyway, I just said I almost have a poem that was published, and that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. So anyway, here's our poem on now. And I say not later, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but now. And it is by Anonymous. And the lettering is so big I don't even need my little glasses, but it says now. If you have hard work to do it now. Today the skies are clear and blue Tomorrow clouds may come in view. Yesterday is not for you. Do it now. If you have a song to sing, sing it now. Let the notes of gladness ring. Clear as song of the bird in spring, let every day some music bring. Sing it now. If you have kind words to say them now. Tomorrow may not come your way. Do a kindness while you may. Loved ones will not always stay. Say them now. Good morning, Joan. If you have a smile to show, show it now. Make hearts happy, roses grow. Let the friends around you know the love you have before them go. Show it now. I'm going to read that again at the end. Just remind me, because I think that poem is extremely powerful, even though it's written by Anon, it says. Anonymous. We don't know who wrote it, but it certainly has some great advice. Now. Why should we wait till later on tonight, till tomorrow, till next week? Sometimes we have to, because that's when something arrives. But once it arrives, once the date comes for you to do something, do it then. And that would be your now. But a lot of times, if you're a procrastinator, good morning, T, you may not get to now, only because you weren't either focused enough, you weren't, motivated enough, or you weren't prepared enough. Sometimes that's what happens. The prepare will put us back. If you're not prepared to do something, you can't do it. If you're not motivated to do something, you're not going to do it. Okay? And certainly, if you're not excited about it and motivated, it's not going to get done. It just will not get done. And I think as much as we've been given in terms of our living, a lot of times there's a lot of things to do right now. And so we get mixed up on how to prioritize, or when, or why, or where, and who else is involved. And so that makes it very difficult sometimes for us to commit to getting something done now. I tell you, I don't know, for those of you who've been with me a while now, because it's been since April since I started this, one of the things I remember telling you is that I took an incomplete one time. And I took it I took one in undergraduate school, but it worked out better. But in graduate school, I took one. And oh my God, you talking about a dangling participle. Oh, I was miserable. I was miserable because I had already taken a full load. Like I was already taking 18 credits. I might have been taking 21, because what I did is I did some credits, according to the general registration, where you could take, I think at that time you could take 3. Well, I had those 3, and this is on a term, so term is shorter than a semester. I think I was doing, like, they were doing at that time, like 9 weeks, 12-week kind of thing, 12 weeks. And so I remember having this horrendous schedule already, and I added 2 more independent studies. Meanwhile, I still had that class that I didn't finish the semester before, because my mom had taken sick, and of course she passed away, so I just didn't get it done. I was miserable, and I was up all night, and this is how I looked. I looked like this in the mirror thinking, you crazy thing, how the heck is it in the middle of the night and you're still up? Well, I finally finished it, and it was a pass-fail, or you could do it as a grade. Well, I took it as a pass, only because it wasn't my AB material, because I hated it. I hated the class, so I don't even remember what the class was, but I remember sometimes when you are not diligent in getting things done now, you will be punished. You will be punished. You'll be in the middle of the night crying. So anyway, now we're going to talk about the word now. It says now, at the present time, or the moment, at this time. That's when you're talking about now. It says just now, right now, currently, here, and now, presently, today, in this day, in this present climate, at this moment, in this time. A lot of times we don't pay attention to that. We hear it, but we don't do anything with it. We say, yeah, I got to get to that. I got to get to that. And we never get to it. So what we were supposed to do today becomes tomorrow's activity added on to whatever's already on tomorrow's schedule. That's what we do. We stack it up. We stack the deck. And before we know, we got a full house of cards, that can collapse down on us only because we didn't take the advice of ourselves to say, okay, do it now. Don't let that thought come to, I'm going to do it later. Good morning, Brett. How are you? Wonderful, Doc. But anyway, if we don't do things now, then we never move forward. Never. We never move forward. So we're always moving in a direction what I call sideways, because we still have stuff to do. And so we'll take, 1 inch forward and 3 inches back, only because we still have things that we did not complete. And so when you are, working, when you're dealing with your house, and I can tell you now, I'm going to give you my quick 2-minute little session here. For myself, what I did is I've been in my house a long time. And, I ended up with my mom's stuff, my sister's stuff, my daughter's stuff, and my own stuff. And when you do not pay attention of all the stuff, then you realize that you have too much. And so that's what I'm doing now. As I'm tossing, I'm throwing, I'm having fun. Good morning, Claydine. Good morning, Rachel. And Joan said, the mind tells you what you need to do, but sometimes the body says, really? You ain't lying. You are not kidding. Sometimes you're too tired to take on something else. But yet and still, if you probably took on that, you could find time to rest later on. And I tell you, I've been going through all of that, just dealing with the realization that I have a lot to do. There's nothing I can not do to get there any faster. I would love it if I could do ibbity bibbity bobbity boo, and it's done. Can't do that. Ibbity bibby doesn't work. Okay, none of that works. Only thing that's going to work is that I have to work. So I have to set the schedule. I have to decide what's going to be tossed out, what's going to be kept, all of those kinds of things. And currently I can't even deal with it yet, because I decided, you have to start at the top of whatever the issue is and whittle it down to where there's no more an issue. And so I'm having fun, and I am dealing with the dumpster. In fact, I didn't realize I had 2 people on hold for a dumpster, because they said, we can't give it to you yet, Miss Wimborne. We can't give it to you. So finally, one of them called back. Yes, I said, I already got a dumpster. So that's not the issue. The issue is I didn't have one when I called you. So she said, oh, I'm gonna tear this up then. I said, thank you. Maybe next time. But my prayer is that there will never be a next time that I will need one, unless I'm moving out the house totally and more needs to be in the dumpster than for me to take it with me. That would certainly be okay. But anyway, when we start with the word now, and before we start with now I have to ask you, are you stuck? Periodically, you're going to be stuck. Periodically, something's going to come up. Something needs to be done right now, Even if you don't get to it, it's still there. It's still there. Rarely does stuff disappear when we have something to do. And sometimes we get so stuck that we can never get around to it. We don't get around anything. Okay, some of us are procrastinators. Not little procrastinators, but big procrastinators. Like everything becomes well, I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to get back to it. Well, before you know it, you have a pile of getting back to. Getting back twos, actually, because it's more than one. There's so much stuff that there's to be done that when we let little things go, it affects anything else that we could ever get around to on the bigger scale. Gucci, go sit down. Get in your cage. He's a cage dog. I just tell him to go home. He goes home. But anyway, I don't like him running around my house. You know, he knows when I'm busy. But the first letter of for now is N, and N means necessary. When something is due now, it is necessary that it be done. It says it's required to be done. It should be achieved, or and it should be something that is presently, on you to do. It is needed. It's essential, and it's a requisite. Because sometimes we have prerequisites and then we have a requisite. It says the mind tells. Oh, I was just reading that again. It says we have some stuff that is compulsory, mandatory, imperative, needed, indispensable. Can't get around it. It's just so necessary, vital, of the essence, and it's something that's incumbent, meaning we got to work on it. We got to work on it. It's there. It's not going to move unless we move it. It's not going to straighten up unless we straighten it up. Floor can't be mopped by itself. It can't mop itself. You know, it's all those kinds of things. Garbage can't be pulled to the street unless somebody does it. So it's those kinds of things. It just says we must be attentive about how we go about our lives to understand when now becomes that now. The O of now is for obligatory. And the reason I chose the word obligatory, meaning that sometimes if you de-obligated yourself to something, then you feel nothing for it. You don't have any, it's not vetted in you. It's not invested in you, and you've not invested in it. So therefore, you don't feel like there's any quick turns towards getting it done. So anyway, it says required by sometimes legal law, moral, conscience, or other rules of that could be considered compulsory. Good morning, good morning. It could be considered compulsory. So when something is obligatory, it's mandatory. Meaning, I got to pay attention to this. I have to get this done. It says it could be prescribed, meaning someone's told you, okay, to do certain things, and you only have a certain time to get it done in, like now. And I know when I worked for the federal government, I always had these suspense dates. And I could not wait to the suspense to get it done unless they just gave me too much work in the first place. And they used to love to do that. So I would have work, and then I had work within work. So, when you are only, one deep, 1.5 deep, possibly limited support deep, you can only get so much done. And so you have to use your time wisely and make every minute count. And I used to work extremely long hours, because a salaried person versus a person paid an hourly wage, and I think it was anything less than a 7. I don't know if that's changed now, but anything less of a grade 7, they were just treated differently. You didn't really have as much of the responsibility that was given from 9s to 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s. Obviously, there was more responsibility as you go up in grade. And so I just remember being obligated all the time of having things to get done. And then I honed a program which was unusual, and the first in the country doing what I was doing. And so to watch it grow and grow and grow, well, that meant I had to do things now, and sometimes it was like I get a call from our front office downstairs that said, look, Dr. Winborn, I need this done, and I need something done by X amount of time. That was the same day. So was that later? It might have been later, but guess what? I had to start working on it now in order to meet the deadline, the suspense. And sometimes you just realize that people can twist you around because their delay caused you to have a hurry. Okay? And I know at one time there used to be this thing that ran around the federal government, and everybody had it up, and it said something to the tune of, do not make your lateness become my hurriedness, because it's not going to happen here. Not now, not ever. So, you just understood that if you were late, don't come to them, because they weren't going to help you get any faster in completing your task. Now, every once in a while, because I had worked there a long time, I could smile them and encourage them to help me. But if they were already obligated, then that was SOL for me. Too bad, too bad. But anyway, when you really talk about being, something being obligatory, it is a demanded kind of thing, and sometimes it's a statutory thing. It has some enforcement possibilities to it. It's binding. It's incumbent. It's unavocable, meaning, okay, this is what needs to be done. This is when we need it. That's it. No avoiding it. It's done. It's needed it, and it's inescapable. And I know some of you have probably worked or in some kind of relationships where certain things were just inescapable. You had to do what was required in order to stay, what I say, in good mind. Feeling all right about who you were and who you are. The W of now is for willingness, your willingness to do something. Because, see, I've known some people who have dealt with necessity and obligation all their lives. And they're still not people who get anything done any sooner than what now said. Now doesn't happen. It may be tomorrow. So there are now shifts. Even though someone told them it needed to be done now, they don't worry about it. That's like the person that should have gone and re-registered their car or re-upped their license, their driver's license, and they end up, or they don't pay their insurance, So all of those things pretty much say, okay, you just begging for them to say that light is out, so I got to stop you. The lights are coming on. We're getting ready to stop you, and you're driving without a license, or it's expired, or no insurance, or whatever it is that pretty much says that if the now occurred, and you paid all the things you're supposed to pay, and make sure that the registration is known, then you just would be stopped for the light, being out. But if the light is out and then you've drawn attention by other stuff, then guess what? They will certainly give you a citation, tell you somebody else has to come get the car, so forth and so on. And I've known people that certainly has happened to, and it's not been an easy thing. It's just been a thing. Good morning, Maurice. Maurice says, okay, and good morning, Gloria. So sometimes we just know that we need to be obligated, right, and making what is necessary ours. We take it on. It can't be that it's just there. It has to be that we've done some forward movement to get it done. And that's why I say now is so important. When you keep saying tomorrow, later, next week, next month, whenever, then tomorrow, later, next week, and whatever becomes in a distance, but still hovering overhead of things that you have failed to complete, failed to deal with. And now, once again, is important. Good morning, Miss Carla. And so we need to really look at the importance of what now does for us. Now gives us peace of mind. If you've done things now that were supposed to be done today, in the present, on time, you can go to sleep at night and not wake up in the middle of the night with anxiety saying, you know what, I didn't finish that. I need to go back and finish that. But sometimes, our life is just so busy that we have what I call now collision, because everything is due all at the same time. And that's a problem. That's a problem. But yet and still, what I tell people, and I do it for myself, is that's when you have to prioritize. What is the most important? Whose demand is greater for you to get it done than the next one down, and so forth and so on, until you can get all the nows handled, and try to handle them all within the day. And to me, when you're dealing with your nows, you also need to communicate with who the nows are due for or due to. Such as, if you can't get around to doing certain things, call somebody, text them, email them, certainly use your best politeness. Because anytime you asking for a break, child, if you are not right, they're not going to be right to you. They won't be right back. So I always, if like for instance, I'm supposed to have some cabinetry deliver. Well, I can't deliver it. I have to get somebody to go with me to pick it up. And they said, well, we can only hold it for, they were being messy at first. We can only hold it, and you need to. I said, oh, that's the message they left me. So of course I called up and sweet talked whoever was on the phone in that customer service department, and they said we extended it for you till Monday. Sometimes if you know that there's a now that needs to be addressed, you have to address it now on what I call the level 1 level, which is, look, I can't come get it today. So can I do it Monday? That's when I have somebody that can help me. They said, absolutely. They don't want to lose money. Look, I'm going to be a good customer. I'm giving you good business. I want good service. And so my good service just says, don't put it out there to be picked up on Friday. I need it till Monday. I need it extended till Monday, and they made it happen. But the original call was kind of testy to me, and I said, well, I don't want to talk to her. I'm gonna talk to somebody else, and that's how it worked. It worked well. It really did. But anyway, the last one is your willingness, and your willingness, of course, is the quality or the state of being prepared to do something. The quality. And once again, like me calling up and talking to somebody nicely about my issue as to why I couldn't make their now for me now. And they said, fine, no problem, no problem. I'm like, so do you want to lose that money? And they said, no, we're going to work with you. They said, you just have to call us and let us know. And I tried to do that with the woman when I already told her that I couldn't get anybody, but she wouldn't listen to it. So sometimes you have to shift gears and go to somebody else who will listen to what your issue is for now. And then don't make now so far out that you never get around to it. Okay? Don't make it like that. So anyway, so now it talks about the state of being prepared to do something. And it's your readiness. Your readiness. So a lot of times we can't get to something because we're not ready to do it. Okay? But it also says that there's preparedness. And sometimes when we don't get to something, it's because we're not prepared to do it. And so therefore, we don't want to take it on. We don't want to take it on. And so for me, the best times for me to do something is when I'm not prepared and I know I need to get there. And that's how I sit down and I'll tackle a problem that I've never tackled before. It might be something totally new. Totally new to me. But I got to do it. I have to learn it. Excuse me, there's a learning curve. The next thing talks about your disposition. And once again, if you're happy about what you're talking about and you're pleasant, people like that. They like that. You can't turn somebody pleasant away with nastiness. Oh yeah, there's some people who probably have that little, mean streak in them, and so anybody that calls her, that's gonna happen, But for you, your inclination should be on the pleasant side. And it also the willingness talks about your will to do something, your wish to do something, your desire to do something, your eagerness. Sometimes your eagerness will get you through your unwillingness to do it. Sometimes say, you know what, I'm getting ready to go on in here, I'm going to get this done right now. Like I'm not one to sit long after I eat, because I know once I eat, I might want to go to sleep. And even though I don't eat as much as I used to, it still can become like a sedative. It's like all of a sudden I'm relaxed. I've eaten something good. And so I generally try to clean up the kitchen as I'm going along and preparing my food. So at the end, all I have is just one pan, the spoon I was stirring with or whatever. And then I have my plate I ate off of and my cup I'm drinking out of. Fork, knife, spoon. That's it. So that's how I do it. But it probably could change if I had people I was serving or people I was feeding. But anyway, it also talks about being having a keenness to understand that I need to do certain things now. And lastly, it talks about your enthusiasm. Because they said if your attitude is good, a lot of times you can get many things done. Many things. Not just the one thing that was due, but other things that may just have come up, and you're looking around and say, look, since I'm doing this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to get it done. So anyway, that's our discussion. I'm going to read this poem again before I ask you the questions, because I really love this poem. And it was written by someone anonymously, but it's just really, really good. It's just a good darn poem. And I hope you like it. For those who came in later, I know initially only a few people might have heard it, but it says now, written by Anonymous. If you have hard work to do it now. Today the skies are clear and blue. Tomorrow clouds may come in view. Yesterday, it's not for you. Do it now. If you have a song to sing it now. Let the notes of gladness ring. Clear as song of a bird in spring. Let every day some music bring. Sing it now. If you have kind words to say them now. Tomorrow may not come your way. Do a kindness while you may. Loved ones will not always stay. Say them now. If you have a smile to show it now. Make hearts happy, roses grow. Let the friends around you know the love you have before they go. Show it now. So I'm showing you. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And now we're going to move on. And that's anonymous, but I found it on the internet. Just called now. And here's some questions for you to put in towards your working out your journal stuff. But anyway, here it goes. It talks about, the first one is, what must you do right now? What must you do right now? What must you do today? Good morning, Jean. What must you do today? Don't know. Or better, tomorrow. But once again, I'm not talking about a long period of time. I'm talking about now. Now means almost immediate. What at least on a plan for today would be good. That's your now. Question number 2. What is your most necessary thing that you've ever come to have to complete? Your most necessary thing. Oh, thanks, Gloria. It is a great poem. I loved it too. Thank you so much. Not mine, but sound like something I write, It almost sounds like you need to be singing to it, something like in Mary Poppins or something. Sound of Music. Okay, I'm going to behave. But anyway, so what would you think of the most necessary thing you've ever had to do? But you did it immediately. You did it right then and there. You did it on the NOW, the noun. Okay, question number 3. What obligation do you have to deal with that's coming up? What is your obligating thing? What's your obligatory thing that you must address soon? Now, you notice I didn't say now, but it's on your plans. Because I believe that you can have a now, you can have soon, then you can have later, then you can have next month, next year, and all of that, because that's how planning is done. But eventually, the things that were later on become now, if you ever get around to them. And the last question is, what are you willing and prepared to do soon? What are you willing and prepared to do soon? Now, for me, voting, that's my soon. It opens, early voting in our area opens Monday. And so I will be standing online and make sure that I get my vote in early. And then on election night, I'm just watching. But I will definitely be getting in my vote early. What about you? What would you be doing that needs your soon attention and your willingness to do it? I was talking to somebody and they were telling me that they were just so sick of the bickering between, this side, that side, that they weren't going to vote at all. And I just looked at them. I didn't give them any advice. I didn't. One, they didn't ask me. But two, um, that's your choice. Only thing you can say is folks who decide not to exercise their right. Okay. But as I said when I was did that thing on voting, and to just the opportunity to have a voice, is that I just remember my parents telling me that they couldn't vote when they were little, when they were young. Good morning, Miss Rosie in the South. So for them to get that opportunity when they moved to New York, then heck yes, I'm going to vote, because my ancestors will certainly be coming up from the rear. They're going to say, what did she do? What did she do anything? Okay, Jean says buying vegetables at Bailey's and making chili for cooler weekend. Absolutely. Yeah, it is supposed to be a cooler weekend. But you know what? It always changes right about this week, next week. Um, around what I call the harvest fall season, maybe Halloween. It always gets cooler, and I'm a big chili person too, so I probably will do the same soon, making homemade chili. But anyway, that is our lesson for today on now, and I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you coming in my little space with me. I'm just looking forward to the weekend. I still have work to do, so I'm gonna be doing my now in a little bit, and getting ready for eventually where things are back where they used to be, in order, the way I like them, and less stuff between giving away, throwing away, and organizing whatever I keep. But anyway, I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Good Morning Lawson, my nephew. You coming in late, baby? Okay, Jones says that is so sad. Too many people died for our right to vote. Absolutely. Absolutely, they did. They did. But you can't, do anything about what people decide not to do. You certainly would hope that they would think it over again, and make it a part of their now. But I'll listen to see if I hear any squabbling later on, if they get something that they felt that they didn't deserve. We'll see. We'll just see. But you all be safe this weekend. Do cover up. Do be, what I would say, mindful about where you're at. Pay attention to distance. Really wash your hands, and get some rest. Do now. Okay? Bye-bye. Have a good. You too, my Maurice.